Hey world, how is everybody? While we have her here, I want to introduce you to my granddoggy. Her name is Bambi. You've probably seen her on YouTube before. I just told her off because she ran downstairs barking, thinking that it was her poppy at home, but no, it wasn't. All right, sit down, lie in the sun. Good girl. Not for too long, though. So there you go, there's Bambi. Mother's Day, yeah. This week has been, well, pretty much the same as any other week for me or any other day and night. I generally spend a lot of time in my bedroom. I don't actually get downstairs to our downstairs part of the townhouse, sorry. I'm going to the doctor's today and I've given up on the idea that I'm not going to increase my pain meds because unfortunately I'm at a stage now where hang on, cheers, I can't really sit, stand, do anything like that for more than a few minutes. So if I move around in this video, you'll understand why. So it's just so frustrating, and I don't really want to up my pain medication because it's going to take, I'm tired enough as it is during the day. My bariatric surgery is just around the corner. So I'm watching my glucose levels to the max. I mean, you can't get much more perfect than that, can you? So yeah, so I'm watching my levels. They're pretty good. They're pretty stabilized at the moment. They've probably never been this good before, actually. So I'm waiting for bariatric surgery. That's meant to be happening sometime in August or September. We haven't done anything else about purchasing a block of land or a house, home and land package, which is really frustrating. With my husband not working and myself not working, he's out of work at the moment because he's had surgery on his knee, and that was about, I don't know, maybe 2 months ago, so it's on the mend, I believe. We're not talking at the moment. This is the norm for our relationship, which is pretty poor, and I do recognise that I need to see someone about it, but unfortunately, if I can stay awake for long enough, or if I can find a comfortable position, I guess, if I really had to, I could lie down at the psychologist, but we're not talking, and we haven't spoken now for probably a couple of weeks. I mean, we sleep in separate bedrooms anyway, so yeah, so I don't know, it's just very difficult at the moment, and it's trying, it's very difficult for all of us in the family. My daughter is the only one that works. We basically we live off some of our savings, but yeah, it's just frustrating, and it must be very frustrating for him as well. I just wish that we could communicate a lot better because it's so lonely. It's lonely. I mean, living under the same roof, which I go back to the years where we were separated, and it was really lonely. And yeah, I had my 2 kids with me for now and again. When he didn't have the kids, then I had them, so we sort of shared custody. But I'm going off the beaten track, and I don't really want to go down that path because we are a lot better than that now, so things have changed. But we have these hurdles every now and again that we go through, and it's a shame because none of us are equipped to deal with it. So, and I guess him not being able to find work with his injured knee as well, with my spinal injury and me not working, the lack of finances, I guess that puts a strain on him. It certainly puts a strain on me. And it's hard, it's very difficult. And it's easy for me to sort of talk it away because, I mean, even now I could happily go to sleep right now. But I don't. I try my very best to stay awake. But anyway. And, with the medication I'm on, it It doesn't help with your memory. You'll probably find throughout some of these vlogs that I'm everywhere. I'm here, I'm there, I'm up there, I'm down there. I'll remember something 1 minute, then I'll go back to the original subject, and then I'll change subjects, and God, yeah, it's everywhere. So I'm going to keep it to basically how I'm feeling and my pain. My depression and anxiety as well. I have noticed lately that a lot of YouTubers are saying they're depressed and anxious. And, you know, I guess with all the YouTube changes, I mean, I make nothing. I've got 2 subscribers to my channel. It's a laugh, actually. And I'm trying to aim for 50 by the end of June. But who knows? So I'm going to try and take you guys out there along to my appointments. But some of the doctors don't really like to be seen or heard. So, and that's fair enough. That's their prerogative. So no worries. Just trying to adjust my camera here. Excellent. So yes, so I've actually suffered from chronic back pain, from prolapse disc for a few years now. And the pain has gradually gotten worse over the few years, getting to the stage now where I think it's going to be inevitable soon. I'm either going to need some sort of surgery. I don't know. I'm really praying to God that I don't need surgery. Oh God, sorry. That's the last thing I really want to deal with right now. Bariatric surgery I can deal with. Excuse me, I'm just changing this thing over so I can put something on my finger that I purchased. Isn't it beautiful? It's a natural sapphire with diamonds. Don't know whether you could see it too well, but how about now? Maybe, maybe not. Let's have a look. I really want to show you, but it's a really lovely ring. Anyway, I lost my true engagement ring. Sorry about that blockage. I lost my true engagement ring, and I don't know where I've lost it. And I'm sure it is gonna show up eventually in when we decide to move and pack up. Let me tell you about that experience. That was the best princess story that I've ever experienced. I used to work with my best friend at Telstra, which was then Telecom. And we used to go up the road every day. We used to walk past jewelers, you know, other little shops, little Chinese shops and things like that. So anyway, I was walking back past this jeweler one day and I saw this beautiful sapphire ring. It was the most simplistic, centered and set sapphire. It was just beautiful. It had nothing else but the sapphire, and it was set in this little round hole type of thing. Anyhow, I was mentioning it to, at the time, my boyfriend, and came home one day and I said to him, you know, my ring, it got sold, it's gone, got sold, I can't believe it. He says, oh, don't worry, something else will pop up, no worries. Anyway, but in that week we went out somewhere on a date, and there you go, he asked me to marry him. So pretty simple story. What the purpose of that was, I don't know, but anyway, this was to replace that ring because it was the most, I love that ring, and it was something that he actually chose on his own merits for me, and I've never experienced anything else since. So there you go. Cheers. It's a latte, by the way, from the McCafe. So as you can see, I'm sitting up again, and I'm shortly going to be laying back down again because my back is quite sore this morning. So my sort of daily routine, let me get into that then. My daily routine is basically, I get up at about 8, and by 8:30 I've taken my medication. I actually manage sometimes to drive my daughter to work, and I try and maintain that ability because I try and take myself to my doctor's appointments. As I said before, my husband and I sometimes don't talk for week on ends. So it's just a lot easier if I can take myself. But that's going to have to stop sooner or later. For the simple reason is the medication is going to take my life over basically. In whole, I won't be able to drive or do a lot of those things by myself anymore. And that's a dead shame, because I really wanted to at least... I wanted the bariatric surgery to be the first point. I wanted to hold off until then, because I do believe that the loss of weight and drastic weight, I'm about 120 kilos now, 116, but I'm 120 if you even it out. Oh God, his hair. So they want me to lose about 80 kilos, and that's achievable. I can do that. I've only lost 25 kilos on when I was on medication called Byetta. It's a needle that you have. It's not an insulin, but it is a hormone, and it actually makes your body excrete any excess fat through either your feces and through urine as well, through wee and sugar type of thing, excess sugar in your system. I got down to about 100 kilos. Originally, I was actually about 140, 150 kilos. So I got down to about 120, because I was about 147, so about 120. I haven't been able to get anywhere lower than 110. That was the utmost I lost, the 30-something kilos. And that is a lot. But health-wise, I need to lose a hell of a lot more. I can't just... It's going to take a lot more effort and hard work, because my discs are suffering at the moment with the pressure of my weight on the actual disc. So we're hoping with the weight loss, it's going to cause less pressure or weight on the discs in my spine. So let's hope, and we do pray to God that that does happen. So yeah, we had family come visit for the Commonwealth Games. We haven't heard anything back from them though, unfortunately. But that's all cool. They're in New Zealand now. They got home safe. So I managed to actually get to one game. My sister-in-law pushed me in a wheelchair. So there were two of us, my sister-in-law and my other sister-in-law. Me and my sister-in-law, were disabled. So we both had a wheelchair each, but my family helped push me. So that was great. That I actually got to see Gracie play. That was really good. And the Silver Ferns. And I mean, yep, I'm an Aussie, but because I had a niece representing the Silver Ferns, New Zealand, of course we had to go for the Ferns. So, and you know what? They did really well. I mean, in the first place, to make it to the Commonwealth Games, it's an absolute, oh my God, it would have been a privilege and an honour for them. Not the right words, but I'm sure you're grasping the idea of what I mean. Anyway, so I went to watch one of her games. The team played brilliantly. And it's just such a shame that there were two teams in the Commonwealth Games, Malawi and Jamaica. And it's my opinion that they were playing very dirty. And I mean, if anyone watches this in the netball world, you know, a lot of other sports have more than just the one or two umpires. I know basketball now has 4. And honestly, I think that's what's warranted for netball. Because let's say the girls are up shooting, but you've got the girls outside the circle. A lot of the Jamaican and the Malawi girls were very pushy. They'd tread on toes. They'd hold people's hands. They'd elbow them. At one stage, one girl even flew over the top of, literally went over the top of my niece. None of us realised, none of us even thought, how the hell did it happen, you know? So in all honesty, I think it would be perfect if they could bring in 4 umpires. There's no reason that they can't, because the teams, as I said, played so dirty. There were just a couple of teams that I noticed, as I mentioned, that did play dirty. And in the final game, there were 5 penalties that, I don't know if they're called in netball, but 5 penalties against New Zealand, when the crowd even noticed that opposite team were dirty players. So they were even singing out, come on ref, come on umpire. They were singing out anyway. They had noticed that it wasn't a penalty. It shouldn't have gone to the other team. It should have gone to the Ferns. In effect, if they would have gotten 5 shots in the net, they would have been 5 goals ahead. But, you know, that's technically, unfortunately, when you're given a penalty, it doesn't always work out to your benefit. So, but you know what? I was proud of my niece. My sister-in-law, or the Rasmussens, they've really, oh my God, they've got some talented kids, really talented kids. I mean, I shouldn't really say that because I'm proud of all my nieces and nephews. I mean, I've got a niece in Melbourne. She's got a fantastic job. I mean, my God, you know, coming home in a sports car one night and a Jeep the next night, or a 4-wheel drive the next night, fancy cars. She's got a great job, you know. She's got somewhere. And her 2 brothers, they've gotten into footy too. So, and then I've got other cousins as well. One of them does taekwondo and he's like a triple black belt or something like that. I mean, all of my nieces and nephews, I cannot tell you, I can't emphasize enough how hard they worked throughout their, you know, years of growing up. And their dads and their mums, and how hard they worked. It's just, they really did well. And I'm proud of my New Zealand family. I really am proud. So I can't speak highly enough of them. My sister-in-law, Ruta, she's a beautiful woman. She's a beautiful woman. My husband used to say no one used to pick on Ruta, or if we were picked on, Ruta, don't you worry. Ruta made sure they wouldn't do it again. A tough nut, but she's got such a beautiful heart. Such a beautiful heart. I mean, all my sister-in-laws do. I can't speak highly enough of all of them. And to be honest, I'm really proud to be a member. I'm proud that I'm a VI. I'm proud that I've got, you know, another, oh my God, my husband's the youngest of 12 siblings. So I love the fact that I've got 11 other, you know, sister and brother-in-laws. I love that fact. My brothers say they didn't have a good upbringing. I mean, maybe because I was the only girl in the family and I was spoilt. Maybe that's why I don't feel that I had a bad upbringing. I mean, I do in an aspect. My, sorry, just got to bring you across here while we sit down, lean against the wall again. Sorry about the hand. My mum and dad used to fight a hell of a lot. My mum used to beat my dad. God rest my mum's soul and my father's soul. They're both parted now. My mother used to hit my father. She'd hit him with pans. I mean, I'd see blood coming out of his eye and his lip. And because he was a gentleman, an officer, no, not an officer, but he was in the Navy, he never struck her once. I mean, I don't particularly feel that was a bad upbringing. I did experience one part of my childhood where I believe my depression and anxiety stems from, but I can't say that I had a bad upbringing. I can remember writing my big brother lots and lots of letters to say how mum would fight with mum and blah, 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 and blah, blah, blah. And, you know, every now and again, he'd fly me to Queensland because we grew up in Sydney. He'd fly me to Queensland to spend time with him and his wife. And they'd spoil the shit out of me. And then she had the baby and never saw much of her, never saw much of my niece there. And it's just the unfortunate thing is my niece doesn't want us to have anything to do with her and their family. So, and that's fine. I mean, it wasn't my fault that my mother chose to keep me away from her growing up. I don't know what it was. I don't know. There are a lot of issues in that family as well that I don't think has been spoken about. But do you know what? That's none of my business, and it's not my business to say. All I can say is that I will always love my brother, and I can remember, hitting my sister-in-law once, and I denied it, but years later I said sorry and I admitted to it. That still doesn't make it right, and I've still never forgotten myself for doing that. I had a hatred for Denise. Oh, don't mean to mention names, but I did have a hatred for my sister-in-law. But then years and years later, I realised that it wasn't my hatred. It didn't belong to me. I shouldn't have hated her. I was wrong to hate her. It's because I was told that, you know, she did some bad things in life to our family. But what can I say? That's, you know, life is life. But I believe she's a nice person. I believe she's a loving person. She's got a daughter. She's got a son-in-law and a little girl now and 2 dogs. And, yeah, they're a nice family. But I've chosen now that, and I mean, that's their decision. They made that decision not to really keep me informed of their life and how they're going on and things like that. So, and that's fine. That's their choice. I'm not fazed about it. To be honest, I've got my own life. Oh, gosh. I've got my own life, and it is hectic enough as it is. I mean, and maybe, I don't know, maybe what it is, do they just don't want me to, I don't know. I'm not even going to go there anymore. I don't think it warrants any more subject or topic. So, but yes, so I did have 2 brothers, but I don't communicate with them anymore. They've got their own lives, and they've sort of asked me to step back and let them breathe and blah, blah, blah. So that's what I'm doing, and that's why I speak so highly of my in-laws, because they're not like my family. And I realise possibly now that the reasons why my brothers probably think they had a bad upbringing is, I don't know, Mum used to hit them, I guess. I can remember one time where Mum sat my brother down on a kitchen chair and hit him, and I can remember my brother bleeding from the mouth until he finally spoke up and told my mother that he wasn't babysitting with a friend. He was out drinking and smoking pot. So the truth did come out, but under the wrong circumstances. She shouldn't have sat him down like that and belted him, that's for sure. I do think that was wrong. But my mother, her mother, my grandma, she used to belt my mother. So, you know, it's probably, I don't know, it's probably behaviour that was taught, and it wasn't taught to be the incorrect behaviour. So I don't know. Mother was a nurse as well, so don't know what went wrong there, but I know that there is on both sides of the family, mine and my husband's, both evidence of domestic violence. So, but you know, and as much as we don't hit any of the kids anymore, they haven't hit our kids for years now. You know, I do believe that I've sought help for it, but it's ongoing. It's ongoing, and that's something that I'll never be able to rid. It's a lifelong project that I'm going to have to keep going on and on with. We have our verbal fights. I did have a big fight with my daughter not so long ago. As a matter of fact, she got the shits with me, and I couldn't understand this, right? Her friends post pictures of her, my daughter, on their social media sites. I put a happy birthday, we're singing happy birthday, and my daughter's holding her dog, and she looks lovely. Okay, she's in her PJs, but she looks lovely, you know, beautiful, young. We're singing happy birthday to her. Next minute, I get a phone call from her bedroom, and we're literally meters apart. Take that video down straight now. Anyway, I hung up on her. It's all right. I hung up on her because, number one, you don't speak to anyone like that. And this is where I'm saying behaviours are learnt. You know, my kids have seen growing up, and they've gained the ability of not communicating properly. And this is where DV, you have to break that chain. So if I could influence anyone out there to change their ways and the way they speak to their children, they teach their kids how to communicate properly, nicely, then do so. That actually angered me so much that I've deleted all my social media except for my Twitter account. I'm yet to do that one, and I was having problems downloading the new Twitter app. So, but anyway, long story short, you need to make sure that you do teach your kids how to speak and communicate properly to you, because it's just not fair to them and to you. I mean, I just think about the other night, and it makes me teary. But that's another thing too about my depression, anxiety. That's at a heightened level at the moment because of my pain and the fact that I live in my room. I live in my house. You know, I used to work full time. For a weekend, I used to take the dog for a walk. I need help to get showered, dressed. I'm in bed most of the day. I'm 45. My ultimate game is, my ultimate aim is by the end of the 5-year period, I'll be back on my feet and at least doing some sort of part-time or casual work. You know, I used to be on, and excuse me for going everywhere, but I tend to do this because of my depression and anxiety. It sort of doesn't really, sort of, I don't know how to explain it, but I go from one subject to the other. But where I was coming from is, I forget now. See what I mean? See what I mean? Yeah. Look, this video's gone on now for almost 28 minutes. It's a very long one. So I am going to leave it there. It is great. I'm going to put this straight on YouTube. I'm not going to have any second thoughts. It's raw. It's unedited. I really want to get to 50 subscribers by the end of June. It's May now, mid-May. Can you help me get there? Please subscribe. Please give me a thumbs up and hit the notification bell so that when I do go on to my next vlog, it'll shoot straight off to you. And you never know, I might actually reach my 50 subscribers. So I've got another 48 to go. So please help me out, guys. And obviously, I'm not going to become a hit overnight, so I'm not going to become YouTube famous overnight, but please like. I'm not in this for the money. I should have mentioned at the very beginning, and I will just before I get to the end of this 30 minutes, hopefully, is I just want to use this as an outlet to communicate. You know, I'm alone at the moment. I don't have any friends here with me. I'm lonely, very confused sometimes. So that's all I want this YouTube to be. I'm not in it for the money. Obviously I'm not, because I've got 2 subscribers. So please subscribe, guys. Don't forget to like and hit that notification bell. And I will be in your little inbox again very shortly. Take care, guys, and thanks very much. Bye.